Hi everyone, my name is Gorka Bartolome and I'm a master certified coach by the ICF here in Spain. For me it's a great pleasure and honor to be able to introduce myself to all the coaches in Russia, and I also very grateful for this opportunity from the International University Global Coaching. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, about my coaching style, and about all the learnings. And well, first of all, I've been coaching for about, let's say, more or less 11-12 years. And actually now I work as a professional coach full-time, specialized in the organizational environment, which means I work for companies, teams, leaders. And well, I would like to explain you first of all what were the most important key points for my professional development during those 11 years. First of all, the most important thing for me was deep research in the ICF core competencies. I think for me, most people, they think that this is something we need to learn and we need to take in account only to pass the exams, all the recordings. But I think those competencies, they have the ground, they have the rules, and they have also the tools that we can use to just give the best coaching quality we can give. So what I've been doing during those years, and now also I'm doing belonging in the commission here in the ICF Spain for the competencies, is just to get deeper and try to understand them as better as I could, and also try to find some key behaviors and things that can give us some information about how to improve those competencies in the different levels. So that was very important. That also was very important for me getting mentored at some point, because I think that in coaching is really easy to get to the dark side. Sometimes you can get lost and can begin to do something that is not really coaching as is supposed to be or is stated in the ICF competencies. So being mentor is really important, because the mentor will help you to just polish or try to improve some of the competencies that you may not be doing in the correct way. So this is really important to do it from time to time. And there are two key aspects from my development that I think that are really essential. One is humbleness. I mean, in coaching, a good coach should be really humble, always willing to learn, always willing to acknowledge that we don't know enough, so we need to keep practicing and improving. And the other one is patient, and this is something that I tell usually and often to my students here in the university. I'm the head of a master here in organizational coaching, and that's what I tell them. Coaching is a great profession but needs a lot of patience, because you need to work slowly, secure, and little by little, so you will improve and be very, very secure of what you do. So patience is one of the most important things. And also one of the most important things that I learned in the last years is flexibility. A good coach needs to be really flexible, which means that you must be able to adapt to any conditions and any demand from your coaches, your client. When I was doing the pass from the PCC, from the MCC to the MCC, there was one thing that really helped me a lot to get there, and also to keep going with the process, that was self-confidence, self-belief. Because this pass from the PCC to the MCC is a moment where you need to change sometimes a lot of things. You need to get used to things that you haven't been doing for a long time, or maybe you have never been doing. So you have to be very self-confident, trust yourself, and I said, be humble. I know that I need to improve, but at the same time, you cannot doubt about yourself. You have to keep going, to keep trusting, and to keep practicing. So this is one of the things that really helped me, just to believe in myself and believe in what I was doing, and also in the coaching profession, which is a great one. Also, another thing was just the sense of purpose, which means just keep in mind what I'm doing this because I like to help people. I like to help people to develop their potential. And when I improve my coaching, I will improve the way in which I'm helping people to live their lives, lead their companies, lead their teams, and so on. So that sense of purpose really kept me motivated and on the path. And also, again, patience was really, really, really important in that MCC process. Now, as I told you, I'm specialized in organizational coaching or business coaching, and specifically working in one-to-one coaching with leaders, and also as a team coach. Actually, I wrote a book about team coaching, and those are my two specialties, my two niches. How did I choose them? Well, actually, they were not by my former profession, because my degree, my university degree is in music. I'm a pianist and also in pedagogy, music pedagogy. But as you can see, that's not my niche, that's not my specialty. I'm not specialized in coaching for musicians. And why is that? Well, it's because when I was younger, a few years ago, I was working as the head of a music school. So when I began to be the head, I didn't know anything about management or teams, about people. So I just had to learn. I had to, train myself to be a good leader, to be a good head of this music school. And there someday appeared that idea of coaching. So there is where I decided to study, because I loved it at the beginning. And that's what brought me here to have my own company and to be working with companies to develop themselves. Although I also work with one-to-one coaching and life coaching, but there I don't have like a real specialty, but I just work with all the issues that people bring to the session. But let's say that I'm more focused on business coaching and team coaching, which are my specialties. Actually, when I was becoming an MCC, when I was working with my mentor in the States, in the United States, who was here at Boone, I had to learn first of all, and I think this is the main point, to be much more present. So presence, the competence of presence, which is the fourth one. When you're going to get to an MCC, you have to develop to a great point. I mean, you have to learn to be really present and to be able not to be worried or not to be distracted by thoughts or how to be doing the coaching. So you have to learn just to be there, and this is maybe one of the most difficult but one of the most useful things for being an MCC coach. Also, something that I needed to improve was to get deeper into the coaching conversation, and this is something that I see in most students and also many PCC mentees I have to the MCC level. This is when we are not present and we don't listen enough actively. There are many things that are just left apart, that we don't take care, maybe we don't think that they are important for the coaches. So this deep listening and also getting deeper in the conversation, in the words, in the emotions, in the also physical world of the coachee was very important. So just try to through the presence, get to this deeper level. Also, as I said before, I think that the main point for my MCC was flexibility. Actually, when I was in the PCC, I realized that I was kind of squared. So my coaching was really always the same, and I didn't adapt enough to my coaches, to my clients. So what I learned in this process to become an MCC was to be really flexible, not to have like a clear path about what should be, how coaching should be, but just to be able to enjoy and to just use all the competencies, but in a really creative way, so I could adapt to any situation. And also a very important thing that I had to amplify and to had to trust was my intuition. That's sometimes intuition sounds like something magic, but actually it's not at all. It's a mental process. We can say that it's a fast thinking process. So I had to learn how to just listen to it and how to use it and how to trust it also, and that was really useful. And it's something that when you get used to it, you find that it gives a lot of value to your coaching. And another thing, the last thing that really changed and really improved in my MCC process was the ability to connect ideas with the goals, with the coaching session and other session of the process. So being able to have a big map in my mind and to connect all the ideas that were coming in this conversation and in other conversations, so I could offer more information and more connection to the consciousness of the coachee. So those were the big things of the coaching MCC process. How would I explain the process of becoming an MCC? So since I'm a musician, I think that's a good metaphor. So when we learn to play an instrument, for instance, when we learn to play the piano, in the beginning we have a lot of difficulties because we don't know the notes, and we even have difficult time to find the keys in the keyboard. So it takes a long time to think about which finger should I raise or should I play now, which hand, what do I have to do now. So I think this is the beginning of coaching. When we are in the ACC level, it's like we have to think a lot what to do, how to do coaching. When we get to the PCC level, and this is the intermediate level of a pianist, so we have some easiness. Let's say that we don't have to think that much about the notes, we don't have to think that much about how to play the technique, so it comes a little bit easily. But then we have a lot of difficulties to give sense to the music. We have to think a lot how to interpret this composer or this style, so it takes a lot of effort to give meaning to the music. And maybe this is the PCC level. So we have some skills with the competencies, they come easily, but then we have to think a lot, or maybe we don't get enough nuances from the coach's point of view, and we stay in a more, let's say, separated way. So when there is a master musician, a master pianist, is someone that makes the difficult seem really easy, because that person, that master musician, he or she doesn't have to think about the technique, doesn't have to think about expression or the style. It just comes naturally, easily. But how did they get to the point? That's very important. Practicing a lot and just being able to absorb all the information till a point that you don't need to think about that information, about those notes, about that style, but it flows. So in the MCC level, it's the same. It's like there is a thin, really thin line between thinking and not thinking. So you're able to stay there, you have all the knowledges, you trust all the knowledges, and then you just let it out without thinking. But at the same time, you are controlling the situation without controlling it. So I think that the musical progress in an instrument will be a good metaphor. Most coaches that I train, they expect to be a master pianist in the first or second session, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, a lot of training with coaches, with clients and with sessions, just to be able not to think, to adapt and to learn. And also we can just train ourselves out of the sessions with, as I said before, deepening in the competencies, and also try to develop some techniques out of the sessions. Just to finish this small speech, I would like to encourage you to just get to the 11 competencies. They are really important. Everything is there. And there are some papers from the ICS that give more information, not the only 11 competencies as they stated in the web page. There are more documents that you can read and you can study. That will give you a lot of information of how to improve and really give you some clues and ideas to get better. But the study and the deepening in the competencies is really important. Then when you get to the MCC, you have to be able not to think about these competencies. They should be absorbed, they should be as a part of you, so when you are in front of the coachee, you don't need to think about them. For me, the idea is like how to go from technique to art, as I say with the piano, okay? When you're not an MCC, you are too worried about technique. Now, should I ask this? Now, how do I relate this? Maybe this is a belief, so you have to think. When you are an MCC, it's an art, because you don't think about it, and it comes alone, and you are able to adapt it to any coachee that you have. So, is this MCC, for me, equals to flexibility. And also, the most important for the MCC is just a deeper level of thinking and understanding. So you will be able to mirror, to give information to your clients, so they will be able to process and to really understand better the situations, so they will have better options to choose and to make the action plan. So thank you very much. I hope this was helpful, and I really looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much.